Hello there. When it comes to nation bullying, there's always one country we like to pick on. Our favorite Maginot-loving, cheese-eating surrender monkeys themselves, France. However, France was in an awful position in the 30s, so it's no wonder they found 1940 so hard. But it does make me wonder, is it possible to survive as France in Hoy using only their exact historical divisions and battle plans? Can I resist the Germans with whatever this is? And for even more realism, let's do it in the hardest, most historical mod ever. Black Ice. I do a lot of these kind of historical divisions videos and challenges, so if you'd like to see more, like the video and subscribe to take part in a massive multiplayer game I'm planning at 75k subs. Someone else can play France though. Okay, here we are, France. France starts with a large army, but also a whole host of really terrible national spirits. Stagnant economy, disjointed government, and a massive 20% attack and defense because of the Maginot Line. All combined, we're losing 1.2% stability a week. And this is Black Ice, so that means a lot, and it's only gonna get worse. This is Bice, so that means plenty of weird divisional templates that I'm gonna have to play around with, because remember, this is historical divisions only, so by 1939, I'm gonna have to change so much. Speaking of Black Ice, we've got all the refineries, and energy, and new resources to manage, and worry about, and forget about, probably. At least we are technically a major power, so we have loads of resources and a surprising amount of factories. We're making pretty much everything that we need, so I don't have to worry about that. But of course, we are France, so that means we have to deal with French tanks. As in real life, these tanks are actually not too bad, but I have to be historical, so I have to use the actual tanks that they used, including the very outdated Swarmer 35 and H35, so I'm going to be very behind the times. And it's all going to be about the research, all the damn dedicated Black Ice research slots, and all the crazy things I have to research. We don't even have basic machine tools, please. We're just going to have to try to catch up to everyone else and pretend we're an industrialized modern economy. I'd also really like to actually have an air force, and we don't really even have fighters researched, so I'm going to have to do that now and try to build them very quickly. Focus tree-wise, we have a pretty decently large one, but a lot of it is locked behind various problems with our government and being at war. The only thing we can do is start the economic renewal, so let's just go down that route right now. We're also going to get started just recruiting as many infantry as we can manage. We're going to need all of them. And we also start with a small armored corps, a mix of Division Légère Mécanique and Chars de Combat. This is just terrible, though. Look at this. It's not good. And these are all the armored forces we're ever going to have, because there really were only a few divisions ready for the Battle of France. So we're just going to stick with this and mostly focus on infantry, which is surprisingly decent. 9 infantry, 3 artillery, and 1 anti-tank. It will need some changes, but we'll get to that in 1939. Now just to build up a whole bunch of civ factories and think about when we move over to mills and prepare. We got 3 years before we have to make the dreaded designs. Oh, and so begins the game of musical chairs that is the French Premiership. Pierre Laval must resign, and so we get our second PM of the game, Albert Sarraut. I am actually losing political power every time someone abandons the naval treaty. I am never going to be able to financially recover from this. Okay, it just keeps getting worse. Why do I not have clothes researched? What are my boys wearing? Rags? Oh dear God, a general strike. This is awful. Look at these stats. What on earth is this? Is this my entire game? Why can't I finish these focuses? What? Am I locked out? It's because we're in a crisis. General strikes counts as a crisis. What am I supposed to do then? All the focuses are blocked. There's a unique focus tree for the crisis that I have to finish first before I can fix or do anything. All of my trades have been turned off. My consumer goods are now 91% because of this general strike. I am wrecked. Oh, it's the Spanish Civil War? I do not care. My economy has turned off. Okay, that was several months of suffering, but we can now pass the Matignon Agreement. I basically decided to do all 4 focuses that lead up to this. I only had to do 2 because it gives me more stability. It does hurt my factory output by a lot, but I think I'm gonna need the stability. I'm tired of exploding. I just want to survive and build things. Ooh, the Spanish Republic have asked for help. We can either send them stuff or say no thank you. If we do, the French people could start a crisis later on. I really don't want a crisis, but historically France joined the non-intervention agreement, so we're going to do that. And of course, Belgium has just undertaken a policy of self-defense, meaning we're not going to let you on our borders and we don't want to work with you, France. I'm sure Germany will leave us alone. Idiots. And now we have massive inflation? Is this another crisis? No, please, I just want to do my focus tree. No, okay, it doesn't lock me out of every other focus, it just means something else I have to deal with. I really do need this research slot, but I have to get all these focuses to fix inflation before I can go down the rearmament path and start doing reckless rearmament, which also wrecks my economy in a different way. Okay, inflation is now getting actively worse. I thought I was going to be quietly building up an economy over here, not dealing with this. Also, we have a brand new PM, Leon Bloom. It never ends. I've also only just realized that we don't have World War I doctrine finished, so we can't start World War II doctrine, and we have massive malices to our research speed, so we're going to be massively behind. Anschluss has happened, so things are really starting to kick off, and I have celebrated the renewed economy, giving me some factory output, and giving me access to a bunch of really nice focuses. But our priority has to be doing reckless rearmament. We just gotta start going, get to early mobilization, and work down towards partial mobilization, because that's right, we're still on civilian economy in 1938. Now that we've moved over, we're just going to go straight to mill factories endlessly and keep going down that rearmament. We just got to get ready. I am really nervous. I think I've done this too late. The communists have demanded Spanish intervention? What? Start crisis? No, please. Oh my god, a whole new branch of the focus tree. Please, no. That's going to completely delay my rearmament. How could you guys do this? It's way too late to get involved in the Spanish Civil War. I was supposed to click, okay, let's help them, wasn't I? But that's not historical, damn it! Here's some more torture for you. I can unlock the FCM-36 and the B-1 BIS. I will do the B-1 BIS because that is on the front line in 1940, but these tanks did not get properly made in time for the Battle for France. Instead, it was all about the Swimmer 35 and the H-35. These guys are just not usable for me. I'm going to struggle so hard with this crappy S-35 chassis. This is the B-1 BIS. It's actually a pretty decent tank. It even has the correct 47mm gun, the SA-35 gun as well, which is different than the SA-34 gun that the regular B-1 had. So we're going to be making quite a few of these because our Chars de Combats, our main heavy tank divisions, are going to need a lot of them. And I've never seen this before. This is so amazing. If you've ever watched any of my other historical divisions videos, you'll know how desperately hungry I am for army XP so I can keep changing up the divisions. This gives me 45 XP basically for free. That is amazing. And if you're a regular viewer, you'll also know that I always forget to assign the MIOs to my equipment, so I have to do that now in late 1938. Oh, Leon Bloom has decided to resign, giving us Edmond Daladier. I believe he actually is the PM during the war, or at least the start of the war, so oh boy. Here's something that sucks. The Spanish Civil War has now ended, but I am still in the Spanish Civil War crisis, and I am supplying them with French tanks. This fascist state is getting free crap from me for no reason. It is now May 1939, so it's time to think about our actual historical division design. As ever, we will start with the French infantry division design. Looking at the historical sources that I have for the infantry division, it's a pretty simple one with 9 infantry battalions, 36 75mm guns, but also 24 155mm howitzers. Now, in Black Ice, that would be represented with 3 light artillery battalions, but the howitzers are a problem because 155mm is the heavy artillery, not the medium. The medium is 105, but you can't add heavy artillery directly to your divisions. You can only add lights and mediums. So I think the best way to do this is simply to do what the BICE creators have done themselves and add a support heavy artillery battery. Now that only adds 12 guns, but I think that's a good enough approximation. Plus it represents the fact that the French artillery corps was woefully under-equipped in time for the conflict. There is, however, also supposed to be 8 47mm anti-tank guns, which in Black Ice is medium anti-tank, but you don't get that until 1940, so there's literally no way for me to equip that, so I will just stick with light anti-tank for now. I will also move the recon to motorcycle recon, because that appears to be a little bit more accurate. Well, it was actually like 1/3 armored cars, 1/3 horses, 1/3 motorcycles, but this is the best I can do. But a big problem I need to think about is the number of infantry guns and mortars. Now this sounds like real pedantry, but trust me, it's important, okay? For starters, there is no infantry guns in the infantry battalions at GameStar, and that appears to be accurate. It looks like the French division just didn't have any infantry guns like the Germans or the Brits did. These are really useful. They provide direct fire support on a battalion level. What are you thinking, France? But mortars are another big problem. So regular infantry battalions have 16 mortars in Black Ice. And after spending about an hour going through each of the individual sections of the infantry division, I have counted up that it only had 71 mortars. So I think this is the best way to approximate it. I'm going to substitute 3 of the infantry battalions for light infantry, which use half as many mortars. And this way, I'm going to have a lot fewer mortars in the division, and it's going to be a little bit more crap. I could go up to 6 light infantry to have it a little bit more accurate, but the division gets really bad, and more mortars and heavier mortars were added about halfway through 1940 and at the end, so we're going to stick to this. So this is the infantry division that I will be taking into the conflict with Germany. Now it's time for the Division Légère Mécanique, which is essentially the French tank division. Based on my sources, the division itself is filled with almost entirely S-35s and H-35s for the tanks. And looking what we have available in Black Eyes for the tank design, the H-35 is a light tank and the S-35 is a cavalry tank. So that's what we'll be adding to our division, which means the base template is actually completely accurate, at least so far as tanks are concerned, because there's about 57 tanks per division. This is perfect. The only thing I'm going to change about this is I'm going to add a battalion of tankettes and change the recon to armored car recon, because there were actually about 51 tankettes and a whole mess of armored cars. So this makes it a little bit more accurate. And then I can then remove the armored car battalion directly, because it adds a bit too many to be accurate according to my various sources. Oh, and also, it actually is supposed to have 24 pieces of light artillery, so we have to add an extra battalion, and also 12 pieces of 105mm howitzers, which is medium artillery. So this division is basically just motorized artillery like crazy. It's agony. Let me just tidy this up, because the artillery should all be on the top, and the AT should be on the bottom, otherwise I'll lose my mind. I am also going to add one motorcycle battalion to represent the large numbers of motorcycles that the division itself actually used, plus it gives me like a little bit more organization. And there we go, that is the Division Légère Mécanique, which is basically the tank division for the French. Unfortunately, we do also have to make the quote-unquote armored division, which is really just the char de combat, and this is basically the heavy tank division. And looking at the sources, where I've actually able to find the exact numbers of tanks in it, it's awful. It's basically nothing. If you take this and approximate it to Hoy, this is what it looks like. It's literally one heavy tank battalion, 2 light tank battalions, and a whole mess of artillery. I am going to approximate adding one more motorized infantry, though, to represent the manpower and the number of trucks in the division, but this is it. It's garbage. This is going to do nothing. France, what were you thinking? Now back to desperately trying to rush the partial mobilization focus, because we are really behind. It's already July. I am terrified. I've got plenty of boys on the Maginot Line itself, and I also have a small army on the Italian border because I just know they're going to attack me. That's where I put all my mountain divisions, which FYI are exactly the same as infantry divisions, just with mountain battalions and pack artillery instead of the regular land equivalents. Oh, the communist threat. This indeed happened. France just banned communism in the same way that Britain sort of banned fascism. But it was a bit worse because France actually had like 29% popular support for communism during this time, so it was a pretty significant political move. Oh, I skipped the event, but it's all kicked off. We are now at war with Germany, and we're actually training on the line. Maybe don't do that. I'm also going to use this opportunity to try to bomb Western Germany, and we're just going to do basically nothing, as historically happened. Maybe I'll do a Saarbrücken offensive if I can get some air supremacy. I'm losing 11 planes. Why am I losing 11 planes? Dear God, okay, let's just turn that off. Forget about it. We're going to sit quietly. We can now thankfully use our PP to improve our country with mobilizing the economy, giving us more stability and daily political power cost, and basically just getting a little bit stronger. I have to do this constantly, but I do not have anywhere near enough PP, so I don't know what I'm going to do, because I can't unify the government to get rid of disjointed government. It's just not possible. At least I get a free army mobilization up to limited mobilization, which is quite nice, but also the cabinet has resigned, meaning I get a brand new PM. Paul Reynaud will now lead the government. Okay, I'm sure that's what's needed. Bro, what? He won by a single vote? God damn. Okay, he didn't win. Now it's Albert Sarraut instead. Is this 5 or 6 PMs now? Okay, we've received strikes again. That's just terrible. It'll spend some PP gain reduction, and I will have an 80% chance of winning. Let's hope it works. Okay, well, it didn't work. It just did nothing and wasted my time, and now I'm getting even worse strikes. So let's try to fix it once more. For the love of God, please. I could try to do the attack the West Wall focus, but I seriously can't. I'm behind on so many focuses, and my economy is just not online enough. I know I die. We need to get down here, try to go to partial Moby so that we can actually, build things and survive. And we also need defensive doctrine for that 10% div defense. Without it, we might die. It also looks like the BEF has appeared. They are just standing there on Dunkirk, Calais, and Lille and really not helping. Love it, guys. Thanks a lot. We're just going to try and cram out as many infantry divisions as possible and probably go up recruitment service age so as to get more manpower because we have no one in the army. Alright, what the hell's going on? Now we're getting mutinies in the army? We've barely started. How could you? Germany might wreck us. Why are you all mutinying? You've got great conditions. Everything's fine. You know, as punishment, I'm sending you to attack Saarbrücken as we did historically, and you're all going to fail tremendously because I don't have enough divisions on the line. Screw you, French mutineers. Okay, now let's go. Germany's now justifying on us, which means they're doing the focus to attack Belgium and the Netherlands, so it's about to happen. A quick Lend-Lease request from Britain, and they will give me a surprising amount of things. Thank you very much. And in true French fashion, how about another election? Oh boy. But luckily the incumbents have actually won, so we don't have to change a new PM this time, and we can keep mobilizing our economy as celebration. Alright, here's the war plan as I see it. I'm going to do the actual French historical war plan, which was to rush up to the Meuse River and try to hold the Germans there so as to fight mostly in Belgium. I'm also going to use the Ardennes Forest as a bit of a stopgap. I need to also rush all the way up to the northern river around the Netherlands, so I'm going to try to drag my line along that river and the Meuse down south, and then around the Ardennes Forest a little bit. If we can get there and start building up entrenchment, we should be able to hold for a really long time. Okay, my boys are on the line. I think this is gonna work, guys. I swear nothing is gonna get in the way. Look at that, we're all ready. I've got the heavy tank shutter combat divisions ready behind the lines to reinforce as necessary or counterattack. This is pretty good, I like it. I do wish I was kind of further up in the Ardennes in Belgium instead of taking up so many tiles. Maybe we should do that. Air-wise, we are getting absolutely spanked. For some reason, the German Air Force is just mutilating me. I don't know what's going on. It's probably because the Brits have not sent a single plane over here. I guess this is scripted so as to ensure the Brits don't help out a player France too much, but I really hate this. Please, guys, do something. Do anything. Oh boy, I've tried moving the line properly up to the river, and they are just toasting me. This is tragic. I'm holding okay in the south by cycling constantly with tanks and fresh infantry, but this is not great. Also, real quick, I need to make the Division de Cavalerie, because I could only do that once I had mechs, which I do now. My sources list a variety of pieces of equipment with horrible little symbols, and it's awful to read, but the finished division looks basically like this: 4 cavalry battalions, an armored car battalion, and a mechanized battalion. That's right, this cavalry division has almost as much mechanized and armored cars as it does horsey boys, not to mention of motorized artillery as well. This is an unpleasant division that I hate, but I have to use at least a couple of them because that's what they used. Curse you, history. Okay, now we've got draft dodging on top of mutinies and strikes. What is going on in France and how can I leave? I wish to change countries. Looks like Philippe Pétain agrees, the former World War I war hero. I'm sure that won't be a problem that he's now the leader for the authoritarian party with fascist sympathies. Well, we've been fighting for a few months, but would you look at that date? 26th of June, 1940. In real life, France surrendered on June 22nd, which means I am currently 4 days better than France, and it's only going to get better from here on out because the Germans haven't even touched French borders. True, Belgium is just absolutely melting, and the Germans are definitely taking a look at the Ardennes Forest, but it's fine, we're better than historical France. We're doing very well for casualties, but Italy has just been called in, so they're going to start pushing us in the south as well. And I think Brussels might be about to die. I should probably start retreating before the Germans completely encircle half of an army. I really wish the Brits would help. This is on you, Churchill. Oh, we have a pretty historical push just east of Verdun. They may be threatening to encircle Alsace, while Belgium is just completely dead. This is tragic. They are really rushing into me now. Can I push and take this back? That would be amazing, because then I could reinforce the line. Yeah, no, it's pretty much over. We have to abandon and start to fall back on rivers. The BEF has just completely left us. They took one look at the German army and scarpered back to London for a pint. So let's just try to avoid completely dying in ignominy. I think it's time to start the retreat from the Alsace line because they're going to get encircled. Let's just pull back to a new line and then we can save some of those divisions to protect Paris. I know it looks pretty bad, but you have to admit, this is a pretty good defense so far. Germany has not utterly destroyed us. I mean, it's not going great, but we are holding somewhat. They are very much at the gates of Paris, though. I'm desperately trying to build up some entrenchment while I can. Speaking of, we only just now got trench warfare, which is the thing that gives you 10 extra entrenchment. Really wish I had this for the start of the war, but it was not possible. I also just completed a focus that asks everybody to embargo Germany. Literally everyone has refused. Why did I even bother to do this? Literally no one listened to me. I'm yelling at a cloud. I know I've already said this, but I just have to say it again. I have never experienced more of a British betrayal. I genuinely think I would have held this if the Brits had done even a single thing to help me. I am going to lose Paris. It's now late 1940, and, everything's falling. But, come on, if we had British planes and British men on the line, this would have been fine. I know it has to happen so that the German AI has a chance, but come on, Brits, how could you be so duplicitous? We've still done really well, though. Yes, we've lost like 81,000 equipment, but we've made Germany lose 37,000 alone. That's pretty good. They've lost so much stuff that would be useful later on, including tanks. We have actually made them lose like 100 tanks. We're great. That's gonna count, probably. All right, there it is. Paris is now encircled, and they are really crushing into Normandy. We're gonna try and shrink the lines and make the Germans bleed for every meter of French soil. Come on, Paris, hold out. Quand sang impur bueno sillon. We're doing so well. There's still one guy stuck on the Maginot Line. We've got 30 German divisions tied up trying to take Paris. And yes, we're probably going to explode as soon as that falls, but come on. Now Italy's fighting Greece, and their attention will be wavering, so Germany won't be able to help them. Oh, and there it is. With the fall of Paris, we have been defeated. We can either choose to collaborate with the Germans and become Vichy, or the fight goes on. Funnily enough, we can also choose to merge with Britain, which is really funny, and this actually makes it so that we get annexed by Britain. We're not going to do that. We're going to fight go on and stay as Free France, because Vichy France basically just doesn't have any content. There we go. Our capital is Nandu in the East Indies. Okay, we've gained a bunch of light infantry and 2 regular infantry divisions, and that's all we got. Oh boy. Let's put them all under Charles de Gaulle or Patton Bousseau. And I guess we need to think about how we should try to fight back against the Axis now. I mean, we have to contribute somehow. We don't seem to have a focus tree, just this weird bit from another Great War. That's odd. Oh god. And we now have glorious Charles de Gaulle. Oh boy, I can't wait to name an airport after him. I'm sure he'll do great. Oh, it's okay. Now look at that. We do have a full focus tree. Oh, thank god. I was really worried I was going to have nothing to do. We can seek help from the Allies to get factories. We can continue the fight and get all kinds of things eventually. But right now we can only appeal to the nation. And I think we have to work down this pretty consistently before we can actually get anything, but we will contribute, I promise you. In fact, this bottom left part is actually all about gearing up for Operation Overlord and D-Daying them. So we get to help. We get to be a fundamental part of that. We have literally no food, no oil, and no convoys. It's not great. I'm not quite sure how we're going to survive this, but we'll make it work. Okay, we lose a bunch of malices. We don't have to have victors of the Great War anymore. Thank goodness. This is just way better. We do have defeatism, which does hurt quite a lot, but we're gonna slowly improve our country. So we literally have 0 resources, so I don't really know what to do when it comes to producing things. I guess I'll just use this bunch of random miscellaneous units and send them to Africa to help out. Oh, Britain is sending us 4 divisions. What are they? They're our own divisions. Oh, 2 are Le Guerre Mécaniques and 1's a regular infantry. These are like genuine boys. Oh my god, that's fantastic. Okay, this is also what happened in real life. The French soldiers that managed to escape to Britain formed their own divisions and basically kept the same structure as in the French army, at least for the first few years. So this is just fantastic and historical. We're definitely putting them under Charles de Gaulle then. Let's mess things up. Oh god, I'm not even over there yet, and Italy has invaded Palestine. This happened last time I played Black Eyes. Italy is always invading the Levant, and there we go. They've completely taken it at no opposition. Britain, please. Yeah, okay, you've annexed Egypt. Great. Well, that's wonderful, but could you please also defend your borders? Okay, they listened to me. They've actually encircled the push at El Alamein. Oh my god, thank you. Now just try not to completely die. I was really hoping the Greece would do a bit better, but they died just almost instantly. Okay. We're at least helping out somewhat in East Africa, just trying to push into Ethiopia a touch and help relieve some of the pressure for the Brits, but it's not looking great along the Levant. We can also now seek help from the Allies, giving us off-map factories and ships and planes. We can become useful. Oh my god, Haile Selassie's come back to Ethiopia? Yes, that's what it means. It means Addis Ababa was taken. We actually helped restore Ethiopia. This will destroy all Axis forces in Africa south of Egypt, and that means we can concentrate on pushing the Italians back to where they came from. That sounded iffy, but you know what I mean. The GOAT Churchill sending us even more divisions. What is it this time? It's another infantry division with the same template, but I'm fine with it because it actually has artillery and stuff. I can put that on a line and actually help push out. We also do have some Spitfires that have been sent to us from a focus, so now we can also help fight in the air war as well. Look at us contributing. Speaking of, we also just got 10 destroyers, which we can use as convoy escorts to allow us to not lose our entire meager army to German submarines. These are also the completely historical Flower-class corvettes that were used in abundance to protect convoys. It also looks like the Soviet war has kicked off, with Germany demolishing the Soviets to begin with, as usual. We're not going to be able to do much. Hopefully I can get a little attaché just so I can keep up with what's going on. We're getting new stuff all over the world, like Saint-Pierre and Miquelon. Thanks a lot, US, for giving us this, I guess. It's a bit useless, but hey, whatever. And the share tree is finally being worked on. Reunion Island is being done by Commonwealth of Australia. This will start a limited war between me and Reunion. That means I need to have forces ready to invade. Reunion, where is... That's over here. Okay, that's like by Madagascar. So I need to have troops ready to invade, and I'm not even slightly prepared. Okay. Alright, let's create the colonies of Vichy France, which means I'm at war with them so I can attack them. As soon as my boys are there, we'll invade. And I have to win this before I do any other focuses. I'm not allowed to select them. So Australia picked possibly the worst one and the one I was least prepared for. Thanks a lot. Oh god, I'm also behind on transport ship technology. I need to advance. It's gonna take a year and a half. Oh my god. I've invaded with just one troop, and nope, not gonna work. I guess they get free soldiers from that. There's another one in the south I have to get, but that does appear to be empty. Looks like we're gonna need Marines. French Marines aren't until 1942 though, so in the meantime I'll focus on Egypt and trying to help out here. The Italians have been pushed past the Suez, and it looks like the Brits have invaded into Brooke, giving us a huge advantage, so I can push a little bit into Salum and, you know, actually be a contributing partner to the Allies. I have formed what basically amounts to a Marine division now that it's 1942, and this is definitely an approximation. It is broadly based off of the Commandos Marine, which were formed in 42 and modeled on the British Commandos. However, they were actually battalion-sized units. There were only like 1,200 men within it, because they were all about specific, really tactical landings. So it's not really adaptable into Hoi Marine Division, so I've had to abstract them and expand them by about 6 times. They had support mortars and tiny bits of artillery, so we can use pack artillery, and we can have 6 Marine battalions with an amphibious support company and a little bit of recon, because I know they definitely had reconnaissance elements. And that's it. It's not super historical, but it's the best I can do. Have a look up the Commandos Marine, they are very interesting, but we're going to use them to invade Réunion and hope that we can advance through the focus tree that way. Okay, the Marines are a bit better, thank goodness. It's going to take a really long time, and it might take multiple invasions, but we'll make it work. And now that that's done, we can actually grab the Gabon. I've saved up my focuses so I could be the one to pick the focus. This starts a fight with Vichy over this section in Africa, north of Belgium, and I'm going to take it. It's land, so I don't have to invade. I will not let Australia pick something crap for me. Oh yeah, that was easy. We kind of just walked in. We now control rubber and like a little bit of manpower. This is fantastic. Thank you, allies, for helping me. They actually did help. We're going to immediately move to Operation Ironclad, which is going to be Madagascar and the Comoro Islands. Or we could do Somaliland. I don't know, we need to do all of them, basically. Looking over at the Soviets, they are actually holding pretty decently. It's December 42, and while they did lose Kiev, they haven't been pushed to Rostov. It's not bad. Still walking forward, it's now 43, we're now attacking in the Caribbean. The Vichy France colonies really don't get any troops, so we just have to walk into them, and it allows us to keep moving down the line towards return to Europe. I'm literally playing a little naval minigame over here. While the rest of the world is being destroyed by the Axis, I'm taking Madagascar. That's right, I'm doing important stuff. Also, it's now quite late in 43, so we can actually make our final historical division design, which is the Division de Blandy, which was an entirely lend-leased armored division. Basically everything in this, except for the manpower, came from other countries. And this is what our tank division looks like right now, the Guerre Mécanique. And this is what the armored division looks like. Look at this beautiful graph. It is so nicely colored. I love it. Each regiment, or groupement tactique, has a battalion of Régiment de Chars de Combat, which are made up of Shermans, a battalion of half-tracks, and a sort of combined battalion of different squadrons of Greyhounds, which are armored cars, anti-tank guns in the form of Wolverines, and M7 SPGs, as well as a little bit of anti-air. So my best guess to approximate this is to use 3 medium tanks, 3 mechanized battalions, with 1 extra motorized battalion to represent the additional amounts of trucks, some support anti-air, and recon armored cars. I am going to have to use only motorized artillery and anti-tank to represent the SPGs and tank destroyers, because I just don't have that tech and I don't have those designs yet. And hopefully, America will lend-lease me the Shermans necessary to fill these, because I don't make any tanks. But there we go, that is the new tank division. We'll still call it the Guerre Mécanique, just because I really like saying that, or DLM. And let's see if we can bring down the Axis with just that. Oh my god, Japan's invaded Saudi Arabia. Oh my god, Japan has actually conquered China as well. This is terrifying. They seem to always win in this Black Ice Patch. That's crazy. And they've taken all the Indies. Thankfully, they've left me alone. Hopefully, America will do something at some point. In the meantime, just keep sending our Marines to try and take more of Vichy France and go through the focus tree. It's almost 1944. I really need to hurry up. Like, there's so many focuses left to do. Like, Operation Menace isn't even done yet, nor have we got Torch. We're very late, and it's all everyone else's fault, not mine, because the Allies are not helping me. Oh, I actually hadn't realized it, but look! We've reclaimed North Africa. We're done. Italy's been pushed out. It's 1944, but my god, we actually have contributed quite a lot. Still got to fight Vichy France in West Africa, but don't worry about that. This time it's me who's wrecked myself. I did the focus that allows me to fight Syria, but I don't have any troops anywhere near it, so they're just attacking everyone in the Axis, and Vesuvius erupt at the same time. They're gonna conquer all the Levant, aren't they? We can also take French Guyana as well. Oh, is this where we get the word for cayenne pepper? From the city of Cayenne? I didn't know that. Oh, looks like the French people didn't know that either, so we're having an election, and the communists have won. That doesn't seem right. Huh, no, look at that. Yeah, it was 1945, but there was an election and the communists won, technically. But in actuality, no, because it was a three-party coalition government, and the PM was obviously Charles de Gaulle. It wasn't Maurice Thorez. He was just like the leader of the majority holder of the coalition government, so this isn't quite right. Hey, but it looks like that finally got America to get off their ass and do Operation Torch. I wasn't allowed to start that because it required ships, so that's amazing. We do have strikes again, though. I keep getting this. Isn't that great? And Italy has once again invaded Palestine, and then there are no troops anywhere to stop them, and all of my forces are somewhere else. Okay, it's fine. Look, we're moving down the tree. We're getting Soviet assistance, which is good, which means we can finally work towards Overlord. Though it is September 1944, and we have just not done anything at all. We kind of suck. We're going to have a very late war. Oh, all of these focuses can't be done by me. They have to be done by, like, Britain and the Commonwealth and America, and they're just kind of not doing them very quickly. Oh, I can't hurry this along. I've got no other focuses to do, so I just wait, I guess. Dear God, Italy is about to take the Suez Canal. This is ridiculous. Allies, come on, do something. Save yourself. You know what? If no one's going to do anything, I'm going to do it. I've got pretty much my entire force together. Let's destroy the Italians. They have no supply in the desert anyway, and they have no air force left. I'm going to save Africa again. It's not like I have anything else to do, because no other country is doing the Overlord focus, so I guess we're waiting. It's already 1945, for God's sake. Oh, Ireland's doing study weather patterns. Okay, that's good. Only like 10 more years, maybe, and Italy's invaded North Africa as well, destroying my planned invasion of Sicily. I was gonna do something really cool. No one wants to protect their ports. Okay, it's 1946 now. There's very little happening in Europe, but Italians have mostly been wiped out of North Africa. No one's doing the Overlord focuses, but Finland's gonna capitulate, so maybe the Soviet-German front will push a bit. Okay, someone's done train the forces. This has to be the UK. This then gives a 180-day timer before Overlord can happen. Maybe this means they will finally do D-Day. I'm also just doing a bunch of random naval invasions. I tried Sicily, and it didn't work, and no one else helped me, so bye-bye Marines. Okay, it's December 46. Overlord has been finished by an allied country. Will they do anything? What should happen is it's a decision that when you enable it, gives you a whole bunch of bonuses to invade into Normandy, and it also gives me a bunch of French volunteers and resistance fighters in the south and north of France. But nothing's happening. No one's doing anything. Okay. It's now May 1947 and there's still nothing going on. I've been waiting for ages. Why? You know what? If no one's going to do anything, I'm going to do it. I'm just going to send my boys into southeastern England and we're going to invade into Calais. There might not be any troops there. We're going to D-Day. Alright? If the AI isn't going to help it, we're going to save the world. I've got Marines ready. Calais and next to it. Let's go. Oh, dear God, there actually is a pretty substantial D-Day wall of Italian troops. Why? Okay, well, that failed. Honestly, I think I'm gonna call it here. It's now 1st of January, 1948. There's nothing I can do. I do not have the resources, equipment, manpower, or anything to invade Europe. So it honestly does look like the Axis have won. If this were to continue on for a few years, I imagine Germany and the Soviets would reach some kind of peace. Japan has also completely won in Asia. Like, this is it. We're cooked. The French have failed. We can't even play historical designs here. This is just the AI and Black Ice crapping out. I do hope in up-to-date versions of Black Ice, maybe this will be fixed. I'm not on the test branch. I'm usually working from the stable branch when I play these, so maybe that's fixed. But right now, the Allies just kind of went to sleep around 1943. Not great. But thank you very much for watching. Do be sure to leave a like and a comment down below suggesting a new video you'd love to see on the channel. Oh my God, there's a sea lion from Italy in Brighton. What the hell is this? Okay, it's dealt with. That's fine. At least the Allies can handle that. And thank you so much to all the YouTube members and patrons who so graciously support this channel and whose names you shall see very shortly. And if you want Paradox games, don't forget to check the link in the description and in the comments below, while also supporting me at the very same time. Thank you again so much for watching. Bye-bye.